Well, now I'd like to turn to Jim Murphy for his wrap up of the LaBelle woodworking model of the business car. Jim, welcome.
Well, nice to be here. And it has been a fun build period. And hopefully we shall move along to our final. As you approach the end of a modeling project, that's when the fun really begins. And I do mean downright fun. I've had an awful lot of excitement with this build. And I'd like to share the final stages of it. And hopefully you can see where we left off last time. We're looking at all throughout this build, I've been very careful to make sure that all the basic components can be separated so that we can continue on with detailing as we go along each step. We built the roof separately, the underbody, the car body itself, along with the LED wiring, which we discussed last week, the schematic for that. I want to thank everybody for their interest and response for that. So we're down to a bare floor, a place to hide the electronics, and a basic car body. So we're going to take it a step beyond. We're trying to get, we left off with this stage, but it's a great model. It's all lit up, but there's nothing inside. And if we're going to have the BSLRR executive car, we definitely need to make luxury accommodations for our executives and, more importantly, for their customers up and down the line. Start with carpeting. Something I always doing in remodeling. All-purpose glue sticks. Liberally coat your car with the inside of your car. That's why everything has to be flat, smooth, sanded. Even the truck screws have had to be ground down slightly to get a smooth inside surface. The beauty of a copier, go search the internet and came up with a nice period appropriate Persian carpet, which were real popular, along with some other goodies that I could copy of. Bear in mind, anytime you put anything on a thin cardstock and are going to add it to your model, use a Sharpie or a paint marker of some sort, cover up the cut edges because they have a way of coming up and showing when you least want them to. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to do the interior furniture, build little mini scenes in here. This is one piece of carpeting from the internet, and then the long runner that goes to the body of the car. Managed to find some round spheres, which in HO scale are about 12 inches across, and they are going to become our gas lights. Again, plint gas is used or pinched gas is used to light these, and they are very bright white. Unfortunately, a little rectangular doesn't spread the light very well. So our trick here is to take those glass or acrylic beads and then just a drop of ACC cement to the bottom of each LED, and that basically builds us a light fixture. Searching the internet, I found some of these these round spheres were pretty popular back in the day for gaslight features. So I've got the lights strung from the top of the roof. So drop of ACC, put a little flat spot on the bulb, and they pop right in there. Now, what happens is, of course, the light will reflect all through this gazing ball and go up into the roof, where we don't want it. So I start by applying a little bit of brass colored paint to the bottom. Does two things. One's it helps glue the bulbs in place so they don't fall off. Also provides a reflector, which gives it a little yellowish cast because it's a brass reflector. That's like a 5/0 brush and a little patience. and even an HO scale isn't too bad. And I only want to paint half of the fixture so it acts as a reflector. Then I'm going to start adding some details to the inside. This is a bit of a scattergun approach. And what I've done is I've made up a bunch of figures. Some of these are 3D printed. Some of these are just kit bashed from an old kit. The bottles are all 3D printed. So this is where you get out your 5/0 brush and some patience, and you just start painting. So we've got a suite for the owner, a small kitchen setup, because I don't have much deep room or depth of field. I can cheat a little bit so I can have my waiter working in the kitchen when the kitchen is only a photograph attached to the rear wall, to give you a little more feeling of depth of field. As we get closer and closer, we do a little more detail. These are 3D printed dining room set. Reminds me of when I was a kid. An office with a kerosene lamp. Remember, we only have gas to light the overhead lights, but for reading lights, we have kerosene, and for heating the car, we have coal. I'm still looking for a pinched gas heater. I think they existed in the 1900s. A little bit larger picture as we start to expand into the other room. We're going to have an observation area, the dining room, complete with flower centerpieces, which were taken down when your train was in motion, and the room set up and dividers there during the car. It's a very short car, so you don't have room for very much. Looking at it from the outside, you can see that this is what the overhead lights look like with their homemade reflectors. So they're all pointing downwards. Again, just the two wires that come up through the hallway to light the LEDs, and an observation section with a conversation going on. And hopefully that's a client and the business manager who is working to drum up even more business for his railroad. Looking at it from the top, we have an observation section, dining room with flowers, a restroom, a small office set up to take any orders that might be generated, a place for the business manager to sleep while he's traveling up and down the railroad, generating more business, and a bar for entertainment purposes only. For any of those that might have been in marketing in the 60s, like I was, that's a necessary item for marketing. Here's a side view, again, showing the overhead lights and our waiter and kitchen attendant preparing us a snack and some food to go with our conversation. A top view here of the dining area. And again, the lights, if you paint them a flat black after they're all installed, it really focuses the light all down into the body of the car and doesn't distract by shining back in your eyes. It also keeps it from shining into the clear story. Here's our waiter ready to serve it all up. You've got a hot water urn ready to go for coffee and tea, whatever you have there, and a little bit more of the underbody detail, which we already talked about. A bigger view of it all with showing the various sections in it, how it's all in. You'll notice there's almost no weathering on this car yet. The varnish was just that. Business car was always kept immaculately clean, no rust, freshly painted, and everything always kept clean. Good clean lines. And here with the you can see the lights are working. There's pickup from the tracks here on these very fine wires, barely noticeable, taking power up from the tracks up to the marker lights. And because we have put reflectors on the LEDs, you don't get that uncomfortable glow from the clear story. It looks like it ought to. Outside view of with a little bit of lighting, you can catch the what's going on at the bar, or a shot inside the dining room with the roof off. A little bit better picture here with the roof in action, and side view here looking at the office area, dining room, and a bit more of the underbody. And that brings us to our conclusion. The most fun of this whole project has been just doing the underbody. What's not shown, and I didn't dare show you, is all the work that was spent on the inside of that car with a 5/0 Sable and various colored paints and lots of patience. So that part is, all it takes is just a lot of effort and time, and you have a lot of fun with it.